Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. My name is Abdullah. I am Senior Director in KPMG in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I will be your host today during the conference. Before I make formal commencement of the symposium, may I request you to please put your mobile phones on silent. This event is also broadcast live on the webcast, which is icaptsachapter.org. You have also been provided with an opportunity to give the feedback about the event through their mobile applications. May I also remind you that in the event of any unforeseen event, God forbid, the exits are on your left side and on your behind as well. I appreciate for your cooperation. We will now have recitation from the Holy Quran, followed by the translation in English. Thank you very much.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
إذا السماء انفطرت وإذا الكواكب انتثرت وإذا البحار فجرت وإذا القبور بعثرت علمت نفس ما قدمت وأخرت يا
Ladies and gentlemen, may I now request you all to stand up in the honor of the national anthems of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. Thank you very much.
He
please request all of you to be seated so that we can start the formal beginning of our symposium. Your Excellency, Vice Admiral Retired Khan Hisham bin Saddiq, Ambassador of Pakistan, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Your Excellency, Tariq al-Sadan, Acting Governor, General Authority for Zakat and Tax. Dr. Ahmed al-Maqamis, Secretary General of Saudi Organization of Certified Public Accountants, President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan and its Saudi Arabian and UAE chapters. Distinguished guests and my fellow professionals, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good morning. I welcome you on behalf of the organizing committee of the 5th Saudi Park Accountancy Symposium, organized by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia Committee of Members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan. Last year, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia announced its Vision 2030. The vision is simple in words, but will have everlasting effects on the economy and the kingdom on an overall basis, as well as the effects will go to the overall ummah around the whole world. The vision has 3 pillars: a vibrant society with strong roots, fulfilling lives, and strong foundations; a thriving economy with rewarding opportunities, investing for the long term, open for businesses, and leveraging its unique position. The vision also has an ambitious nation, effectively governed and responsibly enabled. Ladies and gentlemen, today we aim to highlight the role of Saudi Vision 2030 in the economic diversification of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the expectations from our profession, as we have the responsibility as being the stewards and business strategists to be at the forefront during this important period. Ladies and gentlemen, our discussion themes today will include economic challenges and opportunities, exploring solutions for business transformations, the impact of adoption of international financial reporting standards, the implications and the impacts of value-added tax on our businesses. The organizing committee has done their best to bring together today the leading practitioners from our profession, from the Kingdom of Pakistan, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. Consistent with prior years, we are hopeful that today's event will also provide a unique networking opportunity and to discuss ideas and share them. Ladies and gentlemen, the event is divided into 3 sessions. Our session number 1, we will be discussing transition to IFRS and our learning so far. In our second session, which is structured to discuss business transformation, reviving corporate growth agenda during difficult times. And our third session is to discuss indirect taxes in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This discussion will be followed by lunch and a workshop to discuss in more detail the practical aspect of the implications of the value-added tax in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also here to honor and distribute the 3rd most valuable contributions to our professional awards. We are hopeful that you will find today's event very useful. I would now like to request Mr. Nadeem Yusuf Adil, President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan, to come on stage and talk us about the recent developments in the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan and the relationship with SOCPA. Mr. Adil leads the audit and assurance practice of Deloitte Yusuf Adil and has 23 years of experience in public practice. Mr. Adil is also a board member of Confederation of Asian and Pacific Accountants, CAPA. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adil.
ICAP council members, members of the KC chapter, delegates from the Middle East, representatives of professional bodies, distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. On behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan, its council and the entire management team of the KSA chapter, it is indeed a great pleasure to welcome you all to the 5th Saudi Park Accountancy Symposium 2017. We are greatly honored that the chief guest of the evening, Mr. Tariq Al-Sadhan, Director General, General Authority of Zakat, has graced the occasion. I would also like to thank Pakistan's ambassador to the KSA, His Excellency Vice Admiral Retired Khan Hashim bin Siddiqui for gracing the occasion. The first groundbreaking annual symposium of the ICAP KSA chapter was held in 2012 in Riyadh, which coincided with the Golden Jubilee celebrations of ICAP at that time. It was the first major event to be held in coordination with the Saudi Organization for Certified Public Accountants, SOCPA. Today, by the grace of Allah, in association with SOCPA, we are witnessing the 5th Saudi Park Accountancy Symposium, which has become a benchmark event of our chapter in KSA. The successful proceedings of this symposium also prove the capability, dedication, and the efforts with which our chartered accountants are serving throughout the globe. ICAP has more than 7,500 chartered accountants, out of which 25% are working overseas. ICAP has 5 chapters in UAE, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Canada, UK, Bahrain, and Management Committee in Qatar. Taking the opportunity of the presence of members of ICAP and the SOCPA, I would just like to highlight a few of the prominent milestones that we as Council has achieved in the last 4 years. Alhamdulillah, we have managed to establish independent accounting standard board in Pakistan. We've also established the independent oversight board in Pakistan. On the education side, we have, along the lines of other major accountancy bodies, we have allowed training outside of practice. Students don't necessarily have to go to firms to practice. They can go and train in industry. Like, since 70% of our members are working in the industry, so we thought, why not let them train in industry right from day one. We have the MOU with SOCPA. We also have the MOU with CPA Canada, giving us reciprocity. On the global outreach side, we've got major exemptions on ICW, and we also have the Pathway program. We have the reciprocity program with CIMA, CGMA, and now we are focusing on the Australian Chartered Accountants. Alhamdulillah, we've been holding CFO conferences since 2010 in Pakistan, and we've held 2 CFO conferences in Dubai, and we're planning another one in October 2017, this year. And last year, when we held the CFO conference, we hosted the IFAC PIB committee meeting in Dubai as well. There's a lot of focus on the public financial management of ICAP as well. We've got MOU with AGPR and SIFA, and as part of that MOU, we've got 2 PFM conferences. We've done 2 PFM conferences in Pakistan. Alhamdulillah, ICAP is very well represented on IFAC committees. We have our members on PIB committee, POEDC, CAP, and we used to have a board member on IPSA's board as well. And now the nomination process is going on for our membership on IFAC board, the SMP committee, Auditing Standards board, and Ethics board. To handle the gender balance in the profession, right now we've got about 500 female chartered accountants out of 7,500. To increase that number and to address the specific issues that they can have, we formed a Chartered Accountants Women Committee within the institute. We've also gone through a complete revamp of our CA ordinance, which was made at the time of our creation, 1961, and then we've had few changes in 1983, but this time around we've gone through a complete rehash, and we've made a lot of changes, and the process has been completed now, and we are hopeful that from 15th of June it will go through the promulgation process now. We've also started a mentorship program for young chartered accountants in Pakistan, and we are hoping to do the same in Saudi and UAE as well. Our overseas committee has done a great job in establishing and maintaining connectivity with our overseas members. As I mentioned, 25% of our members are abroad, and by establishing the chapters and by having a dedicated committee of the council looking after these chapters, we feel that we managed to create the connectivity that we thought that we had lost. The theme of this year's Symposium, Vision 2030, Role of Finance Professions, which is indeed a welcome and pertinent thought that needs to be embraced. Saudi Arabia has approved an ambitious broad plan to restructure the kingdom's oil-dependent economy under KSA 2030 vision. As my colleague just mentioned, the vision is built around three themes: a vibrant society, a thriving economy, and ambitious nation. These themes are well integrated and consistent with each other in order to maximize the overall benefits from the vision's pillars. A comprehensive and ambitious vision for Saudi Arabia planned until the year 2030 is indeed one of the first many steps of its journey towards a better and brighter future for the country as well as its citizens. To achieve the Vision 2030, the Kingdom has already launched many transformations. The Vision 2030 brings immense opportunities as well as responsibilities for the finance professionals acting as the stewards, business partners, and business strategists to be the forefront of this challenging period. The symposium provides an ideal platform to finance professionals, services firms, professional bodies, regulators, the public sector, and business to see in what role they fit in to contribute to the success of Vision 2030. The symposium provides an opportunity to all leaders to have focused, informative discussion and consider the steps required to be taken to build a strong economy and identify the key pillars of the profession's role in achieving the vision. A very interesting and informative agenda has been set that includes discussion themes including economic challenges, the adoption of international accounting standards, finding resolutions for business transformation challenges, and impact of the VAT on business. The symposium is providing a forum to our committed financial leaders from across the globe to deliberate and learn from current leaders the emerging challenges of the profession, the developing business and management concepts, theories, and models, and also share the experience of emerging scenarios in their respective jurisdictions. In the end, I'd like to extend my gratitude and thanks to SOCPA, especially Dr. Ahmed Al-Magamis, Secretary General of SOCPA, our sponsors, members of the KSA chapter, Mr. Muhammad Iqbal, Asif Iqbal, Muhammad Farhan, Kashif Iftikhar, Safwat Khalid, Shahid Murad, Sayyid Abid Hassan, and Umair Murtaza. Our worthy members I'd like to thank our worthy members for their presence in making the symposium success. I hope you all will find this symposium informative and worthwhile. Let us all look forward to a great day ahead. Thank you very much.
Can you just stay here because I'm going away? Thank you, Mr. Adil. May I now request His Excellency the Ambassador of Pakistan to Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Tariq al-Sadhan, Dr. Ahmed Maghamis, Mr. Adil, as well as Mr. Iqbal, to please come on stage and please be seated here.
Where do you want me to sit? Thank you.
May I now request His Excellency Vice Admiral Retired Khan Hasham bin Siddiq, Ambassador of Pakistan to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, to come on stage and deliver the special guest address. His Excellency was appointed as the Vice Chief of Naval Staff of Pakistan in 2014, and among his various responsibilities during his distinguished career with Pakistan Navy, His Excellency was the Commandant of Pakistan Naval Academy and Commandant Pakistan Navy War College. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Mr. Khan Hasham bin Siddiq. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Excellency Tariq al-Sadhan, DG Zakat and Tax Authorities, Mr. Ahmed al-Maghamis, Secretary General, Saudi Organization for Certified Public Accountants, Mr. Nadeem Yusuf, the President ICAP, Mr. Muhammad Iqbal, President ICAP of Saudi Arabian Chapter, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It's indeed a great honor and privilege for me to be here amongst the very top professionals and very few select people who are the real experts in their field. I'm new to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I had just come maybe about just a week ago, and the first invitation I find on the table waiting for me was this symposium, and I had no hesitation in saying no. As you must have noticed from my introduction, I'm ex-Navy. The closest I've come to accounting was in the late 60s when I was 9-10 years old. My father, may God bless his soul, was a small-time accountant, and he would ask me to give me a ledger and ask me to add the totals, and if I got them right, I would, end of the day, I would get a rupee or so. I didn't pick up accounting for one reason. The pass percentage of CAs in Pakistan is less than 1%, I think, if I'm right.
It used to be, not anymore.
It's a little more. But lo and behold, some 20, 30 years down the line, my son chose to be a chartered accountant, and alhamdulillah, he's a chartered accountant in UK, having graduated from LSE, and he's working for KPMG for the last now 5-6 years. And he's chosen to come to Saudi Arabia in his next assignment. So when I told him that I'm coming to this symposium, so I asked him to, I almost thought of giving him a ticket to come over and write the speech for me today. May I have some? But the balance sheet did not work out. So I thought I'll give it a try myself. Obviously, you understand that Pakistan and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have a strategic relation lasting over many years. The hearts of Pakistanis breathe for the brethren of Saudi Arabia. So, as ambassador to this Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I would want to see that this strategic relation, which is premised on primarily political and security oriented, to move forward to a better and more all-encompassing relationship, not only the security and political, but also in trade and economy. And what better occasion than to be a partner in the Saudi Vision 2030. So one of the objectives which I've laid down for myself is indeed to see to it that we have a partnership between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, where the investment comes from Saudi Arabia and we're able to provide a trained human resource, not only in the accountancy, in the banking field, but in the financial sector, but also the engineers and the construction workers, and I would rather want to have the top quality human resource coming to Saudi Arabia and collaborating with each other to develop the Saudi economy as it transforms to from a not entirely on the oil-based. At this stage, I would like to compliment each one of the Pakistanis sitting here who've been here and contributing towards the overall growth and development of Saudi Arabia. And I know for a fact the banking sector and the financial sector in Saudi Arabia has been made in part or in great part by some of the legendary Pakistanis and some of the legendary bankers who had been here in 70s and 80s to see to it that this sector in Saudi Arabia develops to what it is now as one of the leading sectors in the world. Obviously, this will be a repetitive theme that in order to succeed, business strategies and financial strategies have to match. And this ambition vision of 2030 by as set out by the Saudi leadership, a visionary step indeed to see to it that the economy transforms to the new realities in ground at the global level and also at the national levels. Having come from the public sector from Pakistan, the greatest sort of pain which gave me was the very primitive practices with respect to budgeting and financing in the government sector. I'm happy to note that Mr. Nadeem mentioned about an MOU between AGPR and ICAP, which is really a news to me. So unless there is a public-private partnership, I think the financial sectors within Pakistan needs great transformation to the new realities. So therefore, may I suggest that some of the CAs actually joined the civil service and end up at Ministry of Finance so that we can, as a nation, be rid of the old babus or accountants or whose practices are ancient as I am standing before you. One of the key themes, as the two earlier speakers mentioned, of Saudi Vision is thriving economy. And I see economic security as fundamental to national security. National security is not about arms and ammunition, or it is not about war fighting. I think the first line of defense for any, or security for any country is indeed diplomacy. And if your national power potential is based on the economic strength, I'm sure that augurs well for the overall national security of any nation in the world. And I think the two nations, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, are well set on a path of economic security to the extent that it abets national security in a great deal. Very similar to the Saudi Vision 2030, may I remind the audience of the great game changer, as we call it, the CPAC. And no wonder when the One Belt, One Road initiative was set out by the Chinese, the first thing they did was to establish an Asia Infrastructure Improvement Bank with a paid-up capital of about $100 billion. And not satisfied with that, they, in fact, put in for $40 billion for another development for the private sector. And in fact, the Kurot Dam, which is being built at a cost of about $350 million, is one of the first projects to be funded by this Silk Road Development Bank. So therefore, I see between the two countries, while Saudis pursue Vision 2030 and we pursue the development of CPAC, which incidentally is also set to, in 3 phases, to end in 2030. I think the business opportunities between the two countries are immense by just looking at these 2 projects of strategic significance and, in fact, monumental proportion. And I see great future for top professionals like you who have contributed to the development of Saudi Arabia and development of Pakistan in terms of remittances which you do and the professionalism which you bring to Pakistan. I've gone through the topics for today's symposium. I think they are wide-ranging, diverse, and I hope you can find solutions to some of the problems which you're likely to tackle. I wish the speakers, the panelists, the best of luck in finding solutions, because otherwise I'll be constrained to this one-liner which says that accountant is someone who solves a problem which you did not have or you did not know that you had in a manner that you don't understand. So no pun intended to anybody. I wish you best of luck, the organizers, with today's symposium. As I said, I'm very happy to be here, A, in Saudi Arabia, and B, in this lovely settings here in Ritz-Carlton. And thank the organizers, particularly Abdullah Akbar Saab, who is the chief host here, and the society, SOPA, and the Saudi chapter of ICAP in Riyadh. We at the embassy would be willing to help in any manner, whatever we can, with respect to any administrative or any diplomatic issues, and we'll be forthcoming, and inshallah, we would like to see that the collaboration between the professionals in Pakistan and professionals in Saudi Arabia goes to a new height in this, as we progress through this Vision 2030 and CPAC back home. Thank you very much indeed for inviting me, and good luck.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for your kind words.
Thank you. I didn't know you sound
May I request Mr. Iftikhar Alam to come in front? I mean, Iftikhar has come all the way from Pakistan, and he's a very, very senior person in this forum. So we would appreciate if Iftikhar, if you can please come in front. If Mr. Tariq Javed is there, I mean, I think we are waiting for him, I mean, anyway. So, thank you.
Thank you, Iqbal sir. I would like now to request Dr. Ahmed Al-Maghamis, Secretary General SOCPA, to enlighten us from his thoughts about accountancy profession and Vision 2030. Dr. Maghamis has served as the Vice Chair of Professional Accountancy Organizational Development Committee of the International Federation of Accountants. He is also serving as Board of Trustee on the Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institutions. Dr. Maghamis is also serving on the boards of various major, large, public listed entities as well as the private entities. Dr. Maghamis, ladies and gentlemen.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. First of all, sorry to say my speech while I'm sitting because there is no way we can go this way. So, His Excellency Vice Admiral Retired Khan Hashim bin Siddiq, the Ambassador of Pakistan to Saudi Arabia, طارق السدحان رئيس أو مدير عام الهيئة العامة للزكاة والضريبة, Mr. Nadim Yusuf Adil, President of ICAB, Mr. Muhammad Iqbal, President of ICAB Saudi Arabia chapter, my fellow speakers, ICAB and SOCPA members and professionals. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. At the outset, I am also very much thankful to the ICAB KSA committee for inviting me and much honored to be part of this August gathering, and also SOCPA is pleased to provide its continuing support to ICAB in organizing this symposium. ICAB Saudi Arabia committee has proven to be a very successful forum, managed by a dedicated team of Pakistani chartered accountants. I am quite happy that SOCPA support has been there for the chapter since its inception in August 2011. And recently SOCPA and ICAB signed a revised MOU in the SOCPA conference held March this year. I am very pleased to note that ICAB KSA committee has been very active body in Saudi Arabia, and it's considered to be, as far as I know, number one in the regions. It is very nice to note that the CBD events done by ICAB Saudi Arabia committee also attended by SOCPA members in a good numbers. I have also had the pleasure meeting current and past president of ICAB and the KSA committee to discuss ideas of mutual professional matters. SOCPA and ICAB also signed another memorandum of understanding under which ICAB provide its IFRS and ISA exam questions and solutions to SOCPA for use in its exams. We would like to speak about the initiatives that we have done with the ICAB. We and ICAB, since the signing of our memorandum of understanding, have supported each other in many areas. For example, we translated two versions of ICAB audit manual and quality control checklist and working papers in Arabic by SOCPA. Also, ICAB consultants for SOCPA IFRS transition project and SOCPA quality control. Also, ICAB examination center in Riyadh and Jeddah, and CBD seminar in Riyadh, Khobar and Jeddah also. All these and many things have been done by the ICAB chapter with the cooperation of SOCPA. If you allow me just to speak a little bit about what's happening with SOCPA and what's happening in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia regarding the profession. Actually, the most important things that we have done is the completion of the transition into the IFRS and the international auditing assurance standards. And since 2017, all companies, listed companies, are required and must submit their financial statement and must be prepared according to the IFRS. And also, Suqba, very good news for Suqba, has moved to its new building. As you know, Suqba has occupied for the last 25 years a small portion of a small old building in Ministry of Commerce compounds. Now Suqba has its own building, and we are very proud that we have that building, so we can give more service to our members and also for all the profession working in Saudi Arabia. 2 weeks ago, or 1 week ago actually, the CMA has announced the successful transition into IFRS by all listed companies. And we are very happy that we hear this news. Actually, what we have been doing for the last 4 years, in some countries it took them more than 5 and 6 and 10 years for transition into the IFRS. And at the same time, we also added the international auditing standards. So 2 projects, we have done it in 4 years. And we are very happy that big of these projects, a big effort has been done by Suqba members and ICAP members. As some of you know, some of you who are attending this conference or some worked with us in accomplish these projects. And some of the projects really, it can be used by other Muslim countries. As far as you know, that the standards, we did not change on the IFRS requirement, but we added disclosures. And most of our disclosure related to the Islamic point of view. So what's being done in Saudi Arabia can be also moved to countries like Pakistan, like any Arab countries or any African countries, Muslim countries, in anywhere. So I encourage those who are in charge of the standards to look at Suqba experience in how we set some of our requirements that related to the Islamic requirement into our standards without changing the requirement of the IFRS. And last, we are very much value our relationship and friendship with ICAP and look forward to developing even closer ties as the profession around the world responded to many challenges we face. May Allah make both ICAP and Suqba grow stronger from strength to strength. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Maghamis. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time that we honor 2 of our esteemed guests for their valuable contribution to the profession. May I request His Excellency the Ambassador, the ICAP President, Mr. Adil, Dr. Maghamis, and Mr. Iqbal to please come down so that we can present the mementos to our guests of honor. Our first award, please if you can come. Ladies and gentlemen, our first award for the most valuable contribution to the profession goes to His Excellency Mr. Tariq Al-Sadhan, the Acting Governor, General Authority for Zakat and Tax. His Excellency served as Deputy Governor of Supervision at the Saudi Arabian Monetary Agency. Prior to that, His Excellency was the Managing Partner of KPMG in Saudi Arabia. His Excellency was an elected member of Suqba Board from 2005 to 2012. His Excellency will receive the award from His Excellency the Ambassador of Pakistan. Thank you, Your Excellency. Our second award for the most valuable contribution to the profession goes to Mr. Ashar Noor. Mr. Noor is the Chief Investment Officer and Group CFO for Al Tawq Group. Mr. Noor is based in Saudi Arabia for more than 15 years and has worked for PwC and Bank Saudi Fransi in the past. His last position was CFO for Morgan Stanley in Saudi Arabia. Mr. Noor is the recipient of Middle East CFO Award for 2014 and profiled as top 30 Global Family Office Investor by Trusted Insight. Thank you, Your Excellencies. You may sit. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vision 2030 sets out the key objectives for the kingdom. For example, to become one of the top 15 economy of the world. Currently, we are at the 19th place. To be in the top 10 countries in the Global Competitiveness Index. We are at the 25th place at this stage. Increasing the non-oil government revenue from 163 billion to Saudi Riyal 1 trillion. To achieve such objectives, the Vision 2030 sets out executive programs. Most of these programs are already in place. To further understand about Vision 2030 and the future of success, may I now request our chief guest, His Excellency Tariq Al-Sadhan, Acting Governor, General Authority for Zakat and Tax, to please share with us his thoughts on the future of success, Vision 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Tariq Al-Sadhan.
Thank you, Abdullah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Your Excellency, Ambassador of Pakistan to Saudi Arabia, respected guest and colleague from the profession, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To start, I would like to thank the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan for inviting me today and honoring me actually by being here today with you to talk about Vision 2030. I had a well-written speech to talk about the vision, the role of the tax authority to succeed on implementing their role in the Vision 2030, but I I decided this morning not to go through the speech and just talk from the heart about my last experience in the last 6 months in the tax authority. I've been in the profession for the last almost 20 years, and the last 6 months of being in the tax authority being the most challenging 6 months. People would thought that the government is a more relaxed institution compared to the profession, but it's not anymore. I've seen my kids, very few in the last 6 months. We've been working day and night in the tax authority to achieve our objective that contribute to the Vision 2030, and I think that will show you how serious is the government in implementing its vision. The tax authority in Saudi, known as the Department of Zakat and Income Tax, back in May 2016, was transformed from being a small department under the Ministry of Finance to a totally independent authority, chaired by the minister, governed by a board chaired by the minister. And I believe the government and the leadership of Saudi believes on the role of the tax authority. If you have seen our new law, which was issued 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, you can understand how much the leadership in Saudi believes in the tax authority and their role on achieving the Vision 2030. Everything the tax authority requested has been granted to them. All enablers being given to the tax authority. And that shows you the commitment that the leadership have and believe they have in the tax authority to achieve its objectives. I came to the tax authority beginning of December 2016 with a huge initiatives and national transformation plan activities that we have to achieve in order to achieve our target of the non-oil revenue I'm sure you all heard about the excise tax and the VAT and other many projects that's considered part of the National Transformation Plan. Not to forget also the transformation of the tax authority itself from, as I said, being a small department of, under the Ministry of Finance to a standalone, very important authority that the government count a lot on achieving the objective. The VAT project is a very, very challenging project. We have a very short time frame to implement it. We have to go live by 1st of January. And I'm glad to see a session later today talking about the VAT, and my colleagues from the Tax Authority will be also here talking to you about the VAT. And we count big time on the accounting profession, on the accountants and CFOs and finance people to support on the successful implementation of VAT by 1st of January. The excise tax is another project that the Tax Authority is mandated with. As you may know, the excise tax will go live hopefully before the end of the second quarter this year. We are just waiting for certain regulatory procedures to be completed, and we are ready to go live. The excise tax on its phase one will be subjecting the tobacco and tobacco products to 100% tax on the sales price, and also 100% tax on energy drinks, and a 50% tax on soft drinks, carbonated drinks. And we believe that the contribution of the excise tax and the VAT will have a significant contribution to the non-oil revenue of the government. The Tax Authority, as I said, also undergoing a significant transformation project to convert the Tax Authority from a pure public institution to a more of a private sector actually institution. We are moving to a full independent budget from our revenue that will contribute to the transformation of our tax authority. The thing that we've been promising our partners, the taxpayers, and our stakeholders and also partners, the accounting profession, that we will be very close to them, listening more to them, working closely to succeed in implementing our objective, and also to enable our partners, the taxpayers, to achieve their objectives. I keep telling my colleagues in the Tax Authority that the taxpayer, actually, they are our partners. Every foreign company in Saudi, we have a stake of 20% of that company. We take 20% of their profit as a tax. So we have a common objective of making these companies very successful and very profitable. The same goes to the Saudi companies in Saudi. We want them to be very successful, so we should enable them to succeed and make more profit and contribute to zakat as well to increase our zakat revenue that goes to the needy people in Saudi. We have a full support from the government, from the chairman, the Minister of Finance, from the top leadership, SIDA. We presented to them our plans and objective, and we have the full support from them. We never went to the minister or to SIDA with a certain request and without this being granted to us. But in the same, on the other hand, the expectation is high from us. And again, we count on you as the accounting profession and colleagues from the financial sector and the finance and accounting department to help us succeed on this journey. With that, I just would like to thank you all for being here today, and we count on your contribution and support to us in the Tax Authority. And I promise you that we will be very close to you, listening to you, addressing your concern, and working together to success implementation of the Vision 2030. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. May I request the stars to please come down from the stage, because we have some mementos further to give away. So can I request His Excellency, the Ambassador, His Excellency Tariq Al-Sadhan, the President of the ICAP, Dr. Ahmed Maghamis, and Mr. Iqbal to please come down here. May I request His Excellency, the Ambassador of Pakistan, to give memento to Dr. Ahmed Maghamis, please. May I also request Dr. Maghamis to give the memento to His Excellency the Ambassador of Pakistan. And also, Dr. Maghamis will give a memento to the President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan, Mr. Adil. Thank you very much. May I just request you to be here? One of the very important set of awards that we have to give is to give our sponsors, actually. They have played an extremely vital role in bringing this star-studded event in its place. May I request Mr. Nabil Ahmed from Aqua Power to come, and he will receive the memento from His Excellency Tariq Al Sadhan. Mr. Imran Jamil from Al Marai. Mr. Ubaidullah Siddiqui from Al Yusr. Mr. Hassan Al Tariq from Al Khwarizmi Actuarial. And Mr. Shahid Hanif from Saudi Orex. May I also request His Excellency the Ambassador of Pakistan to give a memento to Mr. Ehsan Makhdoom from Deloitte. Mr. Fahad Al-Tuaimi from Ernst & Young. His Excellency the Ambassador of Pakistan will give him the memento. Mr. Khalil Al-Sudais from KPMG Al-Fawzan and Partners. Mr. Umar Sagga from PricewaterhouseCoopers. And if Umar is not around, can I request Mr. Amin Qureshi to come and receive this award on his behalf? Okay, fine. We can give the Saudi Orex to Shahid Hanif, Mr. Shahid Hanif. Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We will now break for 15 minutes for the coffee. May I request you to please come back by 15 minutes past 10 so that we can resume our proceedings again. Thank you very much.